Hi, I'm Diane Lucas, and welcome to Book 101 Review. Book 101 is all about the books that I've read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. She is the author of the book Roadmap to Revenue, no other than Miss Kristin Zhivago. Welcome to Book 101, Miss Christine, and can you please introduce more about yourself?
Yes, I run a digital marketing agency. We do everything from AI agents to websites to anything digital marketing requires. Work with small and large companies, mid-sized companies, a lot of mid-sized companies that need to grow. And before that, I was a revenue coach. I did that for several decades, where I would go in and turn around a sales or marketing department and get the revenue going where it should be going. So I'm a change agent, and right now I have a wonderful team of specialists, and we just make revenues grow for companies. That's what we do.
Yes, indeed. Can you help me, Miss Christine, to make revenue to my podcast? And thank you so much for sharing your knowledge to the world. What inspired you to write Roadmap to Revenue, and why is it aligning sales with customer buying preferences so critical today?
I wrote it because in all of my work with marketing, turning marketing efforts around in a variety of companies, I noticed that people, the inside the company, had these ideas about what would work and what people cared about, but the customer had a whole different set of what I call their mindset when they set out to buy, a whole different set of attributes. They had different desires than people were assuming they had. They had different concerns and different questions. So all of the messaging that went out to these prospective buyers was inaccurate. And it really didn't matter how much you spent. You did not get full leverage out of all your marketing efforts because you were missing exactly how customers wanted to buy, how they wanted to buy from you, and why they bought from you. So I started interviewing early on in my career. I started interviewing customers, only 5 to 7 of a given type, in a open-ended conversational interview. And the goal then was to take the information I got from those interviews and close the gap between what the company management thought and what customers actually thought. Use their own phrases, find out how they bought, why they bought, what else they looked at, just understanding their buying process. And then if you get in sync with that and you support it, you're going to sell more. It's just logical. But a lot of people don't want to talk to their customers because they think they know already. And assuming is a very revenue-sucking kind of endeavor. So that solves the problem. And it's pretty simple. In the book I wrote, I actually spell out all of the instructions on how to get people into the interview. I use Zoom audio now. I used to use the phone. And the questions are all in there. How you get them in, how long you spend with them. I gave complete instructions on how to do this interviewing. And I also do it for our clients.
Totally logical, people. Miss Christine, how does your approach differ from traditional sales methodologies like spin selling or challenger sale?
Those are all methods, and they kind of insult the customer. When we are buyers, we know what we want, and we want to be treated a certain way. And we're not treated the way we like to be treated. We often get frustrated. When I ask people how often they get frustrated when they're trying to buy, especially online, but even in brick and mortar stores as well. they say very often I get frustrated. I mean, it's hard to find the information you want. That's the first real problem. They just don't answer your questions. And then the other problem is that you just, it's not speaking to you. It's not giving you what you need to make the buying decision. And that's where everything falls apart. I would estimate billions of dollars are spent on marketing where they don't answer the questions that you have, which is why Amazon started this ask other customers function. And when you see the questions people are asking, you think to yourself, the manufacturer, the seller should have answered those questions. And why
Yes.
didn't they? And it's because they don't think they'll learn anything from the customer. And they just go running off and they pick channels and they throw their messages out there. And now they're using AI, which is better than just guessing. But AI just stalks people. They follow them around. And that's not the same as asking you, a customer, why did you buy this specific thing? What were you trying to do? How did you buy it? Why did you buy it? That's what you can turn into a repeatable process, because now you understand their buying process. Now you make it easy for them to buy.
Indeed, Miss Christine. Let's talk about customer-centric selling. How can sales teams identify their customers' preferred buying journey?
Their preferred buying journey, did you say?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what we tend to do is we ask them what was their process. How did they hear about it? What did they do? Did they go to a search engine? And search engine marketing is completely different now. Google's in trouble, actually, because you can conversationally give AI a rather lengthy description in English of what you want. And they'll do a better job of helping you find that and understanding your intent than Google will do. So Google's losing market share. They're trying to get caught up, but Perplexity and ChatGPT are both sort of doing this battle. And it was Perplexity was winning for even a few weeks ago, and ChatGPT has introduced some new functions, shopping kind of functions, that I think will put them on top for a while. We'll see. So we do interview the customers, but we also interview the sales people and the top managers or people who are customer service, but anybody who comes in touch with the customer, and ask them, what are the questions? Where does the sale get hung up? What are the barriers to the sale? I also ask customers about pricing. So I ask them, did you think this was a fair price? And that number that they give you will actually include your profit because you had the word fair in it. If you just said, what would you like to pay? They'd give you a much lower price. So there's a lot of psychology involved here, a lot of testing. I've done thousands of these interviews and figured out what worked, get the information we needed. But in addition to the customers, as I said, we also talk to the salespeople and customer service people, and they give us some further information that then allows us to build a buying journey map for our clients. And from that, then we figure out, okay, this is the message. These are the places they expect to find it. These are the questions we have to answer. These are the concerns that they're coming to this with, and you have to address those. They have to immediately understand that you want, they know that you know what they want when they come to your site. That's the first hoop that you have to jump through. It
Yes.
is very logical, and it does work.
Yes. Very logical, people. And Miss Christine, what will be your short-term and long-term goals as an author, as a coach too?
What would be my what?
Short-term and long-term goals.
I really actually live my life to help other people realize their dreams. That's what I've been doing all my life. And I ran an ad agency in Silicon Valley, and then did this revenue coaching, and now I have this agency. All of it has been about that. So I work with a lot of entrepreneurs who get stuck. They're at a certain level, like there's certain plateaus, 2 million. First there's 500,000, then there's 2 million, 5 million, 10 million, 25 million, and they get stuck and they can't figure out what's keeping them from selling more. And some more tech savvy competitors may be starting to encroach on their territory. So I get them out of that rut and allow them to start moving up again and growing consistently. And that, in turn, not only helps the entrepreneur, but everybody working for them, and the customers are happy because they get what they want. Everybody's happy working at the company because the company's succeeding and the company's taking care of customers, and people like that. They like having a better purpose when they're selling. So it's a really good win-win situation. I enjoy it.
Indeed, Miss Christine, and good luck to your goals in life and looking for more success to all your projects. And
Thank
what
you.
would be your advice for those people out there who want to be like you?
Well, they don't have to be like me, but I want them to be successful doing what they love to do. And I would recommend that they look at the book because I spell it out. I mean, everything that I've learned as a revenue coach is in that book. I keep
Yes.
learning more, of course, but especially with AI right now, we're just drinking from a fire hose. But I would recommend they get the book. They start thinking more like a buyer instead of a seller. They get into the customer's head, and then everything else they do will be more successful.
So let's talk about the metrics and success. Can you share a real world example of a company that transformed its revenue using your framework?
Yeah, we work with a lot of tech companies, and one of them that we've been working with for about 7 years now has gone from, I think they were 2 million, something like that when we started, and they're up to 40 million now. Growing, that's what they're going to do this year, that's projected. One nice thing that's been happening lately is when people order, they're not ordering 5 machines or 8 machines, they're ordering 350 machines in a single order. So this is in the database, the data center space. They're selling to data centers. So that's been just a steady climb in traffic, in blog traffic especially. We do a lot of content marketing, online advertising, social, and we just recently redid their website to make it more modern and go with the products that they have. So that's one of our success stories. I've worked with software companies that they really thought that they knew what their customers wanted, and that's what made them stall. They assumed that. And when you stop assuming and just ask them or have someone do that for you, everything changes and all the stats go up. It's quite satisfying.
Yes, people don't assume. How should sales teams adapt their strategies in an increasingly digital and AI driven buying environment?
A lot of what's happening right now is we are automating outreach, and the day of the cold call is pretty dead. Sales, cold calls selling has been dead for some time. People are pretty saturated. Whatever you do, whenever you interact with someone, you need to provide something of value before you expect something from them. So all of your content has to be educational, has to help them do something related to your product or service. And you just keep feeding them that kind of information. And the salespeople, because their actual position is in jeopardy now because people are not accepting cold calls, and it's just not as successful as it has been. The trick is to listen. If I were selling right now, if I were training salespeople, I would tell them, ask open-ended questions and then listen. Don't listen waiting to interrupt them and just, do your spiel. They aren't there for a spiel. They're there for you to understand what they're trying to do And then you take all of your knowledge and you have to keep learning to help them. You just want to help them. We had one of our clients let go their salespeople and started using customer service people. And their only job is to help the customer walk away happy. They either buy their product or they buy something else, or whatever they're going to do. The customer service people educate and help them make a good decision. Like, what is your environment? What are the things you're trying to solve? Let's see how we can help you with that. That's what you're there to do. And it shouldn't even be a quota situation. It should just be, everybody getting a bonus at the end of the year if the company does well. And then everybody works together to help each other do well. I don't really believe in the high performance, high pressure environment. It doesn't really work. And it bothers customers. They don't like being pushed.
Very well said, Miss Christine. Very well said. Do you see this framework evolving as a buyer behaviors change? If so, how?
Are you saying how buyers are changing the way they buy now?
Yes.
Yes. The thing that's changed is AI. No question. Every CEO I've talked to over the last 9 months has embraced AI, uses it every day, never goes to Google, asks conversational questions, deep thinking conversational questions. And for a while, they were thinking they could use AI in their companies and it would work out really well for marketing and sales and so on. What they're discovering is it's a little more complicated than they thought. There's a lot of back end work that you have to do. One of the things we're doing, as I mentioned, is we're creating AI agents for clients. Before we build the agent who's going to answer all the customer questions when they come in a conversational, logical way, we build a library, a data library of everything the company has produced. We've built one on our own site. Everything that I've written, including my book, is there in a private library for the AI agent, who then uses that when he's answering customer questions. And the answers are very intelligent and well thought out. And again, because it's private, they might dip a little bit into the web generally, but for the most part, they're using the company information. So it takes a little bit to build it. But once you've given that repository to them to access and you build a good agent, now you've got somebody who does, in fact, just keep patiently answering customer questions. And customers can come in and get exact answers. They don't want a pitch. They just want the exact answer they're looking for. So I think the whole buying process has changed 100%. And we all have to adopt to it or we're all going to be left behind. And I don't like being left behind.
For sure. So, Ms. Kristen, do you think our Constitution is ready for AI?
Our what is ready?
Yes, our constitutions.
Our
Do you think?
constitutions?
Yes,
And what do you mean by constitutions? Do you mean the
the
Constitution of the
law.
United States?
Yes, the
Yeah,
law
no.
itself.
The law is never ready for what tech does. Tech is miles and miles ahead of the law. And I'm very much of a free market person. I think if we just let the market run and encourage people to behave properly, things go pretty well. The problem with the regulations is they typically focus on one thing and then try to freeze the language around that and what's possible and everything. And then meanwhile, the tech is moving on. And it's
Facts.
really hard for regulatory bodies to keep up with that.
Yes.
I don't have a good answer for that. I'm not a lawyer. I grow companies. So I don't have
Yes.
a good answer for that.
Miss Kristen, before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people. My other podcast, because my abstract essay is already in fifth season, abstract poetry in second season, and of course my book 101 review in its fifth season too, comedy 101 in second season, and food 101 in its fifth seasons as well. Geography 101 and love letters are in third season, and my baby podcast Mental Health 101, movie 101 review, or movie 101 review, and music 101 in its fourth season, and science 101 and sex 101 in its first season. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So, Miss Christine, if readers take away just one lesson from roadmap to revenue, what should it be?
The lesson is, at this very moment, if you have any customers at all, you are sitting on a gold mine and you don't even know it. You look all around for answers about your customers' behavior and what you expect them to do, and you try to meet those needs. But if you just ask them yourself, after they bought from you, they're pretty happy to tell you what their experience was and what you could do to improve and how they look for you and all that. And you can build a strategy around that. And it's you want more customers, you go back to your customers who are happy, and they'll tell you how to sell to your new customers. It's that simple.
Yes. Yes, because we believe customer is always right. Miss Kristin Zhivago, thank you so much for sharing the roadmap to revenue to the world. And
Thank you.
we are hoping for more and more and more empowering books like this to come. So can you please invite our listeners to support your book itself?
Yeah, just go to Amazon. It's in hardcover, Kindle, and Audible versions. And you can Google Kristin Zhivago. You'll find my website, all my blogs.
Yes, people, support Miss Kristin Zhivago, because if you support her, as I said, more and more and more empowering buying to come. So, Miss Kristin, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
More to come, people. See you soon.